universe. You might even say beyond this universe. That's right, the metaverse. Chris, can we play the Facebook healthcare video? All right, let's watch this the Facebook healthcare video.
Tell me what's gonna change. Well, there's a new pen we're adding, got a high deductible. But before you send it packing, know it comes with something cool.
You can save and invest your way all tax-free with a nature save.
Tell me what's gonna change.
Tell me what's gonna change.
Benefits are getting better for your body and your mind.
Get some glasses or some braces.
And cholera anytime.
For your family progeny has fertility covered.
So that's what's gonna change.
That's what's gonna change. Now let's move that thing and jump into the metaverse.
Jump into the metaverse. All right, Chris, play the next one. It's right. We have to see a little bit more of the metaverse. Shout out Chris Person for this video, by the way. Or I mean, he didn't make the video, but he just shared it on Twitter. All right, listen. I see there's a little bit more detail about the metaverse at the end of this commercial here.
Be sure to review what's changing on the People Portal and decide what benefits you'll need for 2022. If you don't actively enroll, your current benefits will carry forward, except for your FSA contributions.
If you enroll in the HDHP, you can also put money in. In addition,
so for people who couldn't see it, what at the end, when they're just like directly talking to you, they're like, "We all had fun with that rap," but here it is in plain English. They were basically Second Life figures.
Yeah.
And they had the black Second Life figures be like, "Oh, you might lose your FSA benefits." They gave the bad news to him.
They look like Wii bowling characters.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And that's where you're going to live.
Yeah.
Forever.
It's the metaverse.
It's the metaverse, folks. We love it.
It's the metaverse.
It's where we live.
It's a metaverse.
It is a meta. I mean, hey, what do people like more in the world than being meta? Right? Look at our entertainment, all of our irony and kitsch. Let's have a universe that is fully meta. Quotation marks around it at all times.
Isn't this like Dan Harmon's fault?
Absolutely.
Because, Dan Harmon.
This is Rick and Morty. This is the end stage.
Rick and Morty, like the biggest animation show in the world, like made it so that like every stupid guy like knows what string theory is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And now like it's this. It's the like Facebook's the metaverse. It's not like It is not the place where people argue over headphones and like post combative messages while on pills. It's the metaverse. It's not the place where a guy has his friend take a picture of him laying face down in a field and the caption is, "I guess this is what everyone wants me to do." It's the infinite possibilities.
I do like in the hip hop song, the first thing, hey yo, we're super excited to tell you dope, fresh things about your health insurance, like your deducticle's going up.
Yeah.
But here's the good news: you can save some of the money that you to go towards that higher deductible without paying taxes on it, which of course is enough to just make it enough to cover magically whatever this giant new deductible is. I mean, it sounds bad, but they were just so happy.
Here's what's going to change.
The beats were so fresh that it feels like it's good news somehow.
Like I said, like Facebook fertility's got you covered. They'll be they will be harvesting your sperm as well. You can get a slightly lower deductible if you're willing to donate sperm for an unspecified metaverse project soon to be announced.
Do you think that like? I mean, obviously, like part of it is purposely chintzy. Like that's the design element. Like, oh, isn't this fun? Like 2001 nostalgia of like that. Like when you
like a Mentos commercial.
Yeah, Mentos commercial
by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, but the look, like the aesthetic is when you would go to gorillas.com and play the Jeep game. Yeah, because like the early 2000s are super hot and like fashion and all that shit. Now, we're far enough away on the nostalgia gap that we can do that. But do you also think that this is like that? That's sort of like that's a microcosm for what the broader meta thing is, which is we're gonna make this thing so like chintzy and fucking weird that you don't even notice that we're like arbitrarily fucking up your health insurance.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. You say chintzy, but I think we should give Facebook a chance here and let them show us exactly what the metaverse is going to be.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Chris, let's cue up the next video about the metaverse. What unknown pleasures will the metaverse hold for all of us?
What sights can be seen at the metaverse?
Oh my God.
Mark Zuckerberg,
All right, here we go.
angel to some, demon to others.
Hey, are you coming?
Yes.
Yeah, just gotta find something to wear.
Always.
All right, perfect.
Okay, he looks exactly as shitty as he does in reality.
He gave himself slightly bigger eyebrows
what's
than he
going
really
on?
has.
What's up, Ma?
Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater.
They're in a fucking break room at an Apple store.
Amazing.
That's the unbounded realm that we're gonna build in cyberspace.
The robot.
Okay, so they're in zero G right now, and they're playing a game of poker with sort of like a Wall-E like robot.
Hey, wait.
He's more of a Big Hero 6. I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, should we deal you in?
Sorry, I'm running late, but you gotta see what we're checking out. There's an artist going around Soho hiding AR pieces for people to find.
Someone's hiding ARs around Soho.
What?
Send that link over so we can all look at it.
Oh my God, I'm not going to do the thing I was going to do on the bus. Get me to Soho.
I love the movement.
Wait,
This is my favorite part.
It's disappearing.
This is amazing.
Hold on, I'll tip the artist and they'll extend it.
Yeah, coin-operated art.
Here, I have another room that you're gonna love. Check out this forest room.
Check out the forest room.
Koi fish that fly?
It looks like a rainforest cafe.
Wild. Hey, one sec, pause. It's Priscilla.
Hey, you have to see this.
Oh my God, she's so fucking bad. Bring her back,
I
fuck.
love that guy. We've got to show that to the kids. Can you also send that
Wait a
to
minute,
my
so
dad?
he's literally just watching a
Alright, see you at
TikTok
home.
video in the
This is
metaverse.
great, Paz, but
He's just
there's
looking
something
at
I
his
gotta get back to.
phone.
All right, so
He's doing
that's like
trans,
a list
so
of
it's transhumanism, but you're going to be on your phone all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I have to believe that they're like, okay, everyone's mad at us.
Yes, this is some look over here shit.
I'm so billions pilled on all of this that it's like, I don't know who the Facebook mole was a plant for, either the government or Facebook or both. I don't care. That's obvious. This, taking the billions pill, Mark Zuckerberg and everyone was like, let's make a really shitty, like funny thing that everyone's going to laugh at and do like they'll post the hot dog man from I Think You Should Leave at It, even though it just there's no humor continuity in that. And then everyone will talk about that, and no one will remember why they're mad at us. And to be honest, I don't know why people were mad at them. It's always a thing like, oh, they post bad articles. Well, you know what? That's the human condition. That's the most human thing Facebook does, is post bad articles.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the things people are mad at Facebook for is just being a mirror. Reminding us of what our deal is.
The whole Facebook whistleblower thing, and look, they just rebranded as they're now Meta. The company is now called Meta, and it's like when Philip Morris changed their name to Altria or whatever because people started associating their name with lung cancer, and now people are associating Facebook's name with Donald Trump. And their angry relatives who are dying, boasting about the vaccine and then dying a week later. I mean, Matt, it's like you said. Facebook it can no longer just be the place where your grandmother goes to get mad at Antifa. They got to do something else. So they've created the metaverse, which looks like identical to just about every unbelievably shitty VR experience that already exists.
Yes.
But you can use your phone in it, so you can get like calls, you can get like FaceTime with people.
You can do work in the metaverse.
But you can do work, but you're on the planet Pandora, an avatar. But not a version that
looks like shit.
but not a version that looks good.
It looks like shit. Now, people are comparing this to Ready Player One. But for one thing, in Ready Player One, you were actually able to do cool things. You weren't like at a fucking meeting about like the quarterly fucking earnings statement, which is what apparently you can do in the multiverse, or just get yelled at by your uncle in his backyard. And also, that movie is supposed to be like a dystopia. It's like this is a bad thing to happen. And now now Facebook, because I honestly don't think this is actually going to happen. They're pitching themselves like, hey, you guys don't like it that we are the place that radicalizes your grandma? Hold on about this. We can also be a hellscape from the movies.
Yeah. I would imagine your grandmother in VR chat. Imagine your 4 most bigoted uncles becoming VTubers. Oh, it's my uncle read all these Dan Bongino articles, and now he is going to the school board meeting with a gun.
Can you imagine how much gear and coins and how just absolutely kitted out Dan Bongino's Facebook metaverse character would be? They would be a god. It'd be like Thanos.
Yeah. Bongino's would be really cool. I am curious to see what people do, because it's Steven Crowder it's just like a 90-pound anime girl, and he's like, oh, I don't know, I can't change it. I don't know what happened. Oh, they forced me to do this. Oh, I guess I have to start dressing like this in real life. Oh well, I guess I have to start going to bed listening to these hypnosis tapes.
Yeah, this is the good news is this isn't even, I don't think, ever going to be a thing. This is just a thing they're going to dangle. It's like Tesla and any of this shit, dangling an imagined future that these weirdos think is cool in front of people to maintain some sense that their company has a thing beyond their current model, which, is not sustainable. And so they're just going to keep dangling it out there until they get to the point where they've patented a shock collar that makes you log on to Facebook or your fucking head explodes, and then they won't need it anymore.
I remember just in the coverage of the Facebook whistleblower, and obviously Facebook's a fucking evil piece of shit company, and everyone who works for there should be sent to prison or a labor camp or something like that. But I mean, in the media coverage about it, and the pressure they're under seems to be about this idea that Facebook is making Americans angry. And it's just exposure to Facebook. Facebook feeds off anger, and anger leads to more engagement and clicks, which is more money for Facebook. Okay, I get it. I'm sure that's the case. But it sort of seems like the bigger problem is that everyone is really angry all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's because of Facebook.
No, that just gives you a thing to be angry at. But, at this point, Facebook is a public utility. It is the equivalent of the phone company. Because this is now a new socially necessary for people's lives form of interaction and communication. So they're going to be in charge of channeling all of our worst shit because we suck.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Facebook represents just an absolute cesspool of inhumanity, cruelty, and stupidity. But so does the human heart itself.
Yeah. I mean, they do have demonic algorithms that get in your brain and rearrange it. But that's the case. That's why it needs to be fucking nationalized. The idea that you can break it up,
and
you'd have to replace its function with something else. Why not just have it be a public utility?
And I know Facebook, it's already based on your name or whatever. But I also can't help but think that this is part of a growing effort on the parts of governments. You see this in England right now to make it so that you have to have your name and social security number to post anything on the internet. So if you tell a member of Congress or a journalist lick your ball sack or whatever, then they can send the FBI to your house immediately.
Yep.
I mean, it does seem like this idea that it's just all these ideas that it's the company's fault that they're making everyone angry. But we're not going to do anything to stop making it. It's a way to deal with or not deal rather with this incredible reservoir of just rage and fucking the humiliation and rage that everyone feels on a daily basis.
Well, we're being corralled into the fucking slaughtering chute, and we're mooing like crazy.
Well, I mean, did you see that Metaverse video? It looked awesome. I mean, we're doing this over we're doing this over Zoom right now, and I'm looking into each of your guys' apartments. You're looking into mine. It's the same fucking just all of our apartments are just white walls. Every one of us looks like we live in an insane asylum. But imagine we were on the bridge of a space station, and we were looking out over Jupiter, and we were recording the show like that.
That would be pretty cool.
And that I was a 7-foot tall dog, sort of like Clifford or something, but a half robot.
It sounds like what you want is the holodeck, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want You want us to be in Star Trek now.
Yeah.
Which I get. I get that.
I mean, Floss Latino is like, I mean, that
That's
was
how
like
we
the
get.
first
That's what I'm
step
saying. Like
for the
that's how we
Federation
get there.
being
Yeah.
started. I
That's
will say
like-
though, the holodeck though, you can actually get goop in the holodeck.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is just
This is
just VR.
This is just the
VR that
same
has been around
bullshit.
since the early 90s.
Yes,
And that everyone
yes.
always thought sucked. There's a reason we didn't go in that direction. No matter, I mean, you can only make it look so cool. Has anyone seen the film Disclosure?
Yeah, it was awesome. It actually, Disclosure was ahead of its time about how women do sexual harassment.
Women do be doing sexual
That's true.
harassment. But that movie climaxes with
literally
with Michael Douglas retrieving a file, which you'd think would be boring. What they did is they had him withdrawing the file from a VR office with VR filing cabinets. And that's supposed to have given the scene, energy and novelty. No one liked that. It sucked. No one liked VR. And now we're going to get the exact same thing with the same quality as we were promised and rejected 30 years ago.
the Facebook metaverse looks comprehensively worse than the universe Lawnmower Man creates.
Absolutely. Mister, we could use a man like Jeff Fahey today.
Yeah, but like, okay, Lawnmower Man was like, I haven't seen the movie, but from what I remember from references to it and other things, do you go into the thing and you're in like a grid world and it's like, oh, I'm the lawnmower guy. And then there's my enemy. There's my op who's also riding a thing. And it's like, oh, who's going to go down the grids faster? But in the Facebook metaverse, it's like you can tap into the real world. You can like be in a koi pond, but then people will be like, hey, there's like dope new alternative reality art in Soho. And you can plug out and then go to Soho and plug back in.
Where you are charged for how long you look at the art.
Wait, is that a thing? No, wait, I did not. No, wait.
So when he calls the lady and she shows him the AR street art, right? The thing that you go to a wall and you put up your phone and this 3D tentacle thing popped out. And then they
ectoplasmic worms convulse your body.
Zuckerberg goes, "Oh, cool! Shoot it over here." And then they somehow, through the magic of the metaverse, bring it into the office, and they're all looking at it and they're like, "This is cool." And then it starts to fade out, and Zuckerberg goes, "Oh, it's fading away." And the lady who showed it to him says, "Tip the artist, and it will reappear."
Okay,
so it is like coin operated art.
Every man a Medici. That's the metaverse promises.
A, like, I don't see a problem with that. B, okay, like, if you're complaining, it used to be that you were charged for how long you, like, made a long distance call.
Yeah, that's
then,
true.
Like, so many people
Bring it
did
back. Return to tradition. By having everything have a little coin slot in it.
It's like Philip K. Dick's Ubik. That's how that book opens. You need to use a coin slot to leave your house.
There you go.
It used to be a long distance phone call. That was the dopest thing you could do. That's what people said. They awarded it. They were like, this is the dopest invention of all time in like 1930, whatever, when people first started being able to do it. It's like, wow, me, a potato wholesaler in Wisconsin, I can call the owner of the most breedable donkeys in Siam. The storied donkeys that can reproduce in Siam. And it cost the equivalent of $700,000 to talk to that guy and for you to not understand each other. And then, like everyone did it thanks to a few rich people doing it all the time. It like trickled down, economics. You had the post-war economy, consumerism, the keeping up with the Joneses, the man in the gray suit, all that. Now everyone can do it, but you can't do it as much. Okay? Then like financialization, boom. Everyone who has a job at the desk can do it. They do it all the time. And the makers of the long distance phone call are like, you know what? This is so dope. Let's just like make it free in 40 years, which is what we have now. We can do that for free now because everyone did it. They were like, oh, we made this expensive because we didn't know that many people wanted it. But now we see it's so dope that everyone wants it. And for the thing that's even doper, I think, than long distance calling, alternative reality art where you can see like Rick and Morty adjusted to whatever race you want and moving on the side of your favorite bodega. Yeah, no, okay, it's going to cost a lot at first. You're going to have to like buy Ethereum and like tip the asshole that made it. I'm so sad. Like, I'm out of money. I can't see like Tony the Tiger fucking Ally McBeal was on the side of my favorite restaurant, a Thai taco fusion place.
My virtual chopped cheese is disappearing from my character's stomach. Tip the creator.
No, tip the creator. My bacon, egg, and cheese isn't Aki style anymore. No. But then everyone's gonna do it, and then it'll just be part of life. It'll be free, and that's how like standard of living goes up. Even the poorest person will be able to view the dopest art. Like it's like things are so bad. Things are so bad. Well, the poorest people in America will view doper art in 1 second than Julius Caesar did his entire life.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is, though, another step in the inevitable march towards a world where you keep paying for everything in your life, but you don't actually get to keep any of it.
Yeah.
Like, no ownership of anything, even private property. You just it'll be a future of non-fungible chopped cheeses and just renting basically the air around you.
What do you think? I don't know. That the show Hoarders was like the start of the Great Reset. You were like, oh, this is what people who own too many things
owning
are
stuff
like.
is it's a bad look, folks.
Yeah.
It's cringe, actually.
Yeah, no, you're mentally ill if you own stuff.
Yeah, and of course, the sad thing is that was the goal of socialism, right? That is the imagined utopian endpoint of the communist project, is a world where all is owned, or nothing is owned privately, right? And we'll have that, except the thing that does own it is the algorithm, and we all get to fucking rent our existence from it.
Well, that's what the book Red Plenty was about.
Yeah, it is. It's the demonic inversion of that. It's like you're going to get one or the other over a long enough technological timescale.
Yeah.
And we're getting the one where you are all literally slaves to the machine. Cool.
Well, for people who don't know, Red Plenty is a great novel, but it's about a real problem the Soviet Union faced where there was a dopeness gap.
There was dopeness is the West.
There was no chopped cheeses.
Guys, I go to kitchen. There is Nixon. The dopeness he is showing me in this kitchen. We must get more dopeness. Banging his shoe on the table.
Yeah, Khrushchev saw like Christian Louboutins for men, like red bottoms, for the first time, and he cried.
Yeah, but like an algorithmically determined system of ownership, right? Or like a goods and an economy that distributed things algorithmically to people who didn't own them would also, that would be the fully luxuriated gay specs communism that people keep saying that they want. But that is if the humans run the machinery, and we have gotten to the point where we are now no longer in charge. Like, our ruling class is along for the ride. They're the people who are closest to the machine's whirring, and therefore they can like sit on the human. They could be like the pass-through for these profits, but the profits are not being made because they want them made. They're made because they have to be.
Well, maybe then the future is like, people are like, oh, it's Brave New World. No, it's 1984. It's a combination of everything, but the thing that is the biggest part of the future is equilibrium. Because like you just have a license to everything. Even when you own a movie, that just means you have like a license to watch the digital copy that they can change.
Oh my God! So all art will be illegal.
Right?
They'll come to your house and burn it.
They're going to change it all the time. Like they're going to be like, they'll destroy your copy of Uncle Buck. And they'll be like, no, the digital version, it's better. It's like 180 billion p. Don't you want to see it like in high definition?
Don't you want to stream it?
Yeah, don't you want to stream Uncle Buck in 380 frames a second? And it's like, yeah. But then you realize that they've changed the movie because Uncle Buck, he's like very similar in personality to the people who stormed the Capitol in the terrorist attack of January 6th.
Yeah.
And they've edited scenes where Uncle Buck does a statement of harm. But you're like, fuck, this sucks. Like, I don't care that it's 380 frames a second. I don't care.
Digital John Candy, his soul, which is now owned by the algorithm. He's not dead. It's just like a computer has like basically copied the neural networks of John Candy's brain, and he will appear to you in the metaverse on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise and do a land acknowledgement before a screening of the new version of Uncle Buck, which you'll be paying you'll have to put a digital token into the metaverse token slot if you want to watch another, like every 5 minutes. If you want to find out Uncle Buck ends, you will have to continue to rent the John Candy's digital enslaved soul.
Yeah, and that'll be like the new like status symbol if you're PMC. It's like, oh yeah, no, I let my girlfriend have my password to John Candy's soul.
They're cracking down on that though.
Yeah,
because only one household will be allowed to have access to John Candy's soul, and you can you can torture him for eternity, or you can be nice to him for eternity,
or you can get bored halfway through and do the other one.
And there's like a Vox article 5 years into the soul renting program that's like, 68% of people chose to be nice to him for eternity. And like if that doesn't show that like people are good,
And then, of course, they figure out, like, what do people end up wanting to do with John Candy? And wouldn't you know it, you have to pay more to do certain things. Like it costs, a couple 100,000 credits to make him be in all of his movies for everyone streaming, but in every one of them, he is wearing his barf costume from Spaceballs.
Okay, the barf skin is a premium tier.
No, yeah, that's high end.
That's access to barf skin.
The barf skin's one of the most expensive items in the entire,
metaverse.
Steam library there.
So the sense offenders are going to be people who own physical copies.
Yep.
Yes.
Who like you can't change their Uncle Buck, but like for everyone else, like we're going to introduce something that we should have done a long time ago. It's like the perfect thing for America. And you're going to have like ranks for how good you are at watching TV and movies.
Oh, God, you're right.
Okay,
oh my
well,
God,
I'm loving this system.
Fuck.
I'm loving this system. I'm the
Oh,
best.
no,
at it.
that's 100% true. Because like the last frontier for any escape from, total drudgery is if you can comment on shit effectively. So you got to incentivize that.
Because everything is going to be like online games where it's like, there are skins and there's like tiers or shit you can buy. And like, if you're a real nerd, you go into the console and you like fuck with it. But the thing that it's missing is the gamification is like the rank.
Yes.
And if you're like, just take like the CSGO ranks. If you're a global elite Ted Lasso watcher, you made all the right comments. You like your TV sees you like cry at the right times, but not crying in a way that makes it about you. If you're a man,
yep,
like, and accepting of your vulnerability. But if you're a silver, it means that you get some things. Obviously, you're like, oh wow, Ted is like letting he's being passive for once. It's not even like he has to be the hero and use his white male privilege for his advantage. He is literally just stepping aside and not making himself the subject. But then you do something awful, like you sexualize some of the women on the show. And it's like, that's why you're a silver. You suck. Fuck you.
And the Supreme Court will rule that employers are allowed to consider your viewing rankings when making hiring decisions.
And then, people are like, well, it's a workplace safety issue.
Yeah,
I don't want to be endangered
I don't
by
feel
a
safe around
silver.
white men who don't understand the Ted Lasso message.
And if you're in Gen Z listening to this right now, or even in Generation Zero, the one coming up next, who's mostly going to live and work in the metaverse, I would just say right now, it's about working hard. It's about building the skills now so that it will be attractive to that will make your soul attractive in the infinite void of the metaverse. If your soul is worthless, then no one's going to be paying for your skin. And no one's going to want to torture you for eternity or make you feel pleasure for eternity. But so I'm saying, to people listening to this, build the skills now. And by that, I mean watch the correct programs.
Yes.
Watch the TV show, recap them. Because you want to show an employer that you're kind of already doing the job that you want to get paid for. So watch and recap the correct programs, the highest value programs that are most attractive to future employers. Start doing that right now. And that's how you build skills for the new metaverse economy.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, it's easy for us to say, like me, Matt, and Will, we grew up in a time, it was sort of the Wild West. You could just buy a movie on DVD. You could do all this shit. And it was a very free learning environment where we experimented with TV watching a lot. And we created a lot of the techniques that you guys use today. And it's like, to some sense, we are grandfathered in. When we go into the metaverse now, we're using all the tricks we learned from when this game was really first developing. And it's like, I get it. Yeah, we're global elites, but it's almost like we walk backwards in that. It's going to be harder for you. But it really is, however unfair or fair you feel it is, it's important that you grind this because you, Generation Zero, you will be the last generation of children ever. There's going to be like 5,000 of you. And none of you are having kids.
You're all
like,
baby
sorry.
Diegos.
Yeah, tough, I know. But this is going to be your legacy.
Yeah.
And so like doesn't that make you sort of feel the heat of the moment, the importance of it all?
And in like 100,000 years, if aliens show up on Earth and they find your, digital metaverse profile on a thumb drive and boot it up, they could bring you back to life.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that if it's like, oh, this guy was even like a gold one TV watcher.
No. Only the platinum Uber watchers are getting brought back by the aliens.
Global elites like us, we're living forever.
Yeah, of course.
Easy. Like the aliens are going to be like, these guys were amazing. Like they watched so much stuff. They're coming back.
I can't wait to listen to them talk about the stuff that we do. That's going to be awesome.
Well, then we'll feel like Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Because we were good and they're observing what we did.
Yep. We all get to be Ted Lassos. Of course, Ned Romney loves Ted Lasso because he's basically already living that life.
No, he had a meeting where they just outlined all the stuff we just intuited is going to happen.
Yeah.
Where they're like, metaverse, eternal consciousness, ranked TV watching, blah, 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 no ownership. The Hoarders program worked exactly as we wanted it. So did Storage Wars. It also made owning stuff seem lame.
Yeah.
The yup catchphrase made no one want to own anything.
God. God, that sucked. I watched way too much Storage Wars for a while.
Yeah, everyone knows about...
It was all for Barry Weiss, the good Barry Weiss.
We made everyone, we made like a whole suite of programs about guys who buy houses, and we made them all like unnerving sexual twins and stuff just to make home ownership and all ownership seem uncool.
Yeah.
It worked. No one is buying any of these things. But Mitt Romney's like, oh yeah, sounds good. But he's like looking at his phone to see if Kristen Sinema read his text.
Yep.
Because it's, we're all human at the end of the day.
And he will get to live forever in the metaverse, eternally with us, building his own universe. With Kristen Sinema.
Isn't it weird how the metaverse, like Facebook is just trying to like make Mormonism?
We're trying. Well,
they're made Kolob.
Yeah, that's like Kolob is the American dream, really, like abstracted to its quintessence. Like that is like building, literally creating and being God over the world.
Yeah, but like not just the world, it's your world, and John Candy's there.
That's
he's
true,
there, folks. Look, he's doing a little dance. He's flipping the pancakes with the snow shovel.
It'll be awesome when your like licensed John Candy soul can see when your SSRI dose goes up. And so when you get done with a long day of work and he's like doing his dance for when you get home, he's like, "Hey, you took the hard step of asking for more help. I'm proud of you, buddy."
I'm proud of you. Would you like to unwind by peeling my eyelids off over and over again?
And remember,
or would you like to do it to famous radio DJ Casey Kasem?
Hey, who you had a bad day? Would you like to wail on Eric Estrada with a paint gun?
That's like those are all like the new thing. The thing that happened like now and like 10 years ago is like the bullshit comments on like Jefferson Airplane YouTubes where it's like, I'm 12 and I like this. Like, I think this rocks. And the new thing will be like, I'm 11, I'm Generation Zero, but I like torturing Eric Estrada as opposed to Justin Bieber. I like owning his soul.
It's just, God is good and cruel. He's both good and cruel in sort of like equal parts.
Yeah,
and
we will
the
be
metaverse.
God. We will be able to represent God's will on earth in the metaverse.
Well, this is trad because some forms of God, as articulated in the Old Testament, God is, you cannot for the life of you figure out why he's really doing anything. It just confusing, like seems unfair. It just seems arbitrary and cruel. And when you look at him, that's like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You can't look at him. It's just like really upsetting. It like kills you. That's Mark Zuckerberg.
It's true.
That's him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the god of the metaverse.
And and we can sit at his right hand. I got to say, I'm feeling better now after earlier.
I honestly
looking
like
forward to the future.
This is like my most annoying opinion is like being anti Facebook, just because I don't. It's just like with the people who are like, oh, well, we could have universal healthcare if it wasn't for Facebook. It just like, yeah, they're bad, but like, do you really think that?
I mean, the people who are saying that are all on
stupid
Twitter.
Shit. Yeah, I know, but those are the people that do articles. I mean, they have a cause to be mad at Facebook, but it's more personal than anything. It's that Facebook like lied about video numbers and was like,
honestly,
hey,
that is behind all of it. Like these assholes all lost, jobs in newsrooms on like working for companies as salaried employees for just like frantic freelance hustling because their companies all radically restructured based on numbers from Facebook that were made up,
completely falsified. Like, just not even close. Like, just flat out lies.
It is wild that didn't destroy them because that's essentially what Enron did.
Mm-hmm.
But we've moved so far past any, like, actual material economy that no longer registers as anything but a speed bump.
If Enron happened today, there would be, like, a non-insignificant community of, like, Enron stands.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh, do you have a better solution for energy trading? Like this thing that doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'd like to know your solution for getting California the energy credits it needs.
I will be using Arthur Anderson style accounting tricks to inflate the value of my blockchain-backed 10 billion digital souls that I now own in the metaverse. That as part of the metaverse, I am basically everyone is covered in boils all the time.
Ooh.
And like basically, they're covered in boils, and instead of weather, it's just sort of poison gas, and like, but all of the blockchain certified individual neural networks that have memories, thoughts, feelings, and pain in the metaverse, I will be using Arthur Anderson style creative accounting tricks to inflate their value for when I sell the souls to
be my slaves in the afterlife.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the fascination with like Web3 people in general, but more specifically like crypto people with Meta? Like what are they seeing that it looks idiotic to us, and it looks like what all technology in the 70s was to people even 10 years later.
Yeah.
What do they see there? Is it just that it's like, oh, this is like shitty transhumanism and eventually we'll have the real version?
When you say meta, you mean their pursuit of the metaverse sort of thing?
Yeah,
that idea?
yeah.
The metaverse shit is wild to me of like how fast it came on. Like, do you guys,
I think for me, it makes sense because like what we're seeing here is capitalism finding another frontier that it requires, right? Capitalism cannot function without a frontier of accumulation. And there is none in the terrestrial world anymore. So this is the last frontier. And for that to work, you have to transfer real social value from the real world to the cyber realm. Like the logic of an NFT is that owning this thing digitally has the same emotional connection that I have to things I own IRL. And as soon as you make that transfer, as soon as people are actually operating a circulating economy in digital currency, in a digital world, then you are creating the social conditions where everything that libertarians of the technologically inclined ilk have been horrified of comes to pass. You don't want to eat the pugs. You don't want to live in the pod. Web 3.0 leads directly to a world where you live in a fucking dog kennel and you have an Oculus strapped to your face and you live and work and you do a real job. And even in there, you think that you're like the alpha, like post-left, smart guy who avoided the trap of Globo Homo. And you're literally living that world. But it's okay because you've transferred everything, including your emotional connection to objects into this cyber realm that you'll have to immersively engage with. It can't be a screen. That's where meta comes in. And that's why meta is a necessary component of this.
Everything you just said is what Mark Zuckerberg would say, but good. Like,
exactly.
With a positive spin on it, right?
Right.
Like, not as a bad thing.
That's how politics and is impossible in like inside the framework of capitalism. Because if you're like these guys and you are horrified by what's coming, by what capitalism is giving us, but you can only see like its Janus face of like multiculturalism and woke capital and all that, and that's its face to you. Like the only alternative, because collectivism is out of the picture, is every man for himself, every man grasping at technology, and then the better man, the smarter man winning, the Darwinian struggle. And I'm going to be that, of course. And so then your attempt, your depoliticized sort of, basic setting American libertarian response is to grasp these weapons of technology, and by doing that, forging your own fucking chains.
Well, I mean, as long as we're talking about Zuckerberg and Meta, Mike, I mean, you've recently written about, like, could you just provide some context for which, like, the Facebook is now, they're Meta. They're launching the Metaverse, and it was so successful that they lost $230 billion of market valuation in one day.
But to me, it's like, obviously, this is just Uber on an accelerated scale. Like, you're loss leading forever because you're not really making a product that anyone wants to buy or that has a business model that works at its heart. This is building capacity for what comes later. Like the way that Uber destroyed labor regulations at the municipal level and broke us through to another level of labor exploitation. This is going to bust us through to another level that way.
Like, but what I mean is, like, for like Mike, like for a company like Facebook / Meta, for a company like them, for them to lose 23% of their stock value in one day because of how shitty the metaverse looks, is that really like a disaster for them? Is it like for Mark Zuckerberg? Is that truly the end goal here? I mean, like, are they like jumping out of windows at Facebook headquarters? Like, it doesn't seem that way.
So I think a few things. I think one, Mark Zuckerberg really does want this metaverse to happen and actually believes in it. Yeah, like he absolutely.
The Silicon Valley economic engine does not work if this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that essentially means it will work.
Yeah.
Because the government will do whatever it takes to make sure it works. They're the finger on the scale. They're picking the winners like they always do. And this is the only hand we have economically as a system. There's nowhere else for us to go. All other paths have been burned. We cannot reindustrialize with our current political structure. So that means we will just run headlong into the fucking into the pods to live. And we can imagine, we're still fighting all the old culture battles, and we're still free because we're able to express ourselves there online. And there is still a chance that you can make enough money that you don't have to do a crappy job with the, in the goggles. You don't have to be a widget sorter or an email sender. You can be a philosopher king, but you're still doing it in the fucking goggles.
No, and like that is the sort of self-propelling nature of this too is also really fascinating to me. Like, just in the beginning, we were talking about how it came on so fast. Like, I get emails daily now about, here's the 10 best metaverse stocks that, or to pick or whatever, like just sort of a thing that didn't exist now is an inevitability. Right. And I think in tech, they kind of always talk in terms of inevitability. When Uber came on, it was like, this is the way labor workers' rights or lack thereof is going, whether you like it or not. We're dragging you into this version of the future. And eventually, like the folks that I would talk to, they'd say, when this is legalized, not if we win this battle or not, this is what it's going to look like. And I agree with you, Matt, but that's like, they sort of create their own momentum around it and sort of push us forward. I think Zuckerberg wants this to happen and believes in it. Read Snow Crash and like literally read Snow Crash. Neil Stephenson.
They have the literature memorized, the
whole canon. But like read it, it's sort of like the most surface level version of what reading is. I think on a lot of this, just like not really. They would argue
these guys are all bimbos. Is the thing? Like they really are decapitated by their STEM knowledge. Like their STEM ability created this like firewall between their like the basic self-doubt that you need to propel you through like actually knowing anything.
Yep.
Like that engine of like, well, maybe I don't know everything. That's going to push you into like, interrogating your beliefs. But they're so convinced by their material success that they know everything, that they are like Dunning-Kruger proofed. And since everyone around them is either in the same lobotomized condition or directly benefits from them is like gathering around like the fucking fish that like eat between shark teeth. And so they never will and they never can intersect with reality, especially since the Fed at this point exists to keep them afloat.
Well, yeah.
It's like a kid thinks they're driving, they're riding their bike, but their dad is like still holding on to the seat.
In the same way that like Protestantism is the sort of side toxicity of American / Ulster Protestantism is the thing that no one thinks about is the inherent problem that comes with being a human living in the human world, but thinking you know all the answers.
Exactly.
There's no further investigation to go.
I have a personal relationship with God, i.e., that's me. God, whatever I'm thinking, that's him.
Yeah,
It's just from a third perspective, admiring me, basically.
Yeah, right. And there are problems with like any religion, obviously, but with like most forms of it. I mean, actually, this is true for the most reactionary forms of Islam you'll see in like Saudi Arabia, but Judaism, Catholicism, but a billion other things. The thing isn't like, oh, we've figured it out.
Yeah.
It's varying degrees of we know very little but this one thing. But this, what you just described, like the blinders that come from having figured out this one linear progression tract, it's Protestantism without any pretense of God. So it's
exactly
like
because it's the chronological accumulation of Protestantism. Protestantism is the beginning of to articulating a fracture from the social church, like and creating a new way to understand the universe outside of the context of like a socially reinforced church hierarchy, which is no longer viable in that early modern era. And it starts with, God is real. But I have a personal relationship with him, and then I get to spend all day like working out these fucking math problems to reconcile myself to God because I can't feel a connection to God. I have to keep doing algebra to get back to God existing separate from me, and then subverting my will to him, right? Like being a good person. And that, transforms into American Protestantism. But as time goes on, the technology that we're using to accelerate capitalism is also accelerating scientific knowledge. And people who pride themselves on faith through rationality, which is the premise of the Reformation, is that human reason can get you to belief, then eventually you don't need God. You have your mastery of nature to stand in for God, and heaven on earth could be possible. And as soon as technology accumulates far enough, you can even imagine an eternity. You can even get rid of the idea of ever having to reconcile yourself to mortality. And that's where the very tip of the spear these guys are. Guys like Musk and Thiel, these guys legitimately do not think they will die. Like that's not an exaggeration. And that is just Protestant heaven that they can believe in because they're not depending on God's grace, which what's that? It's abstract. It's not real. But they can have faith in their understanding of technology, their ability to ride the wave. And they can believe in that because believing in yourself is that final existential faith, belief that we all need just to live. It's the end state before your brain essentially destroys itself because you can't live that way. You can't live among people that way. And if everybody is living that way, you have to alienate all of your actual agency to this algorithm that wants to strip the flesh off of your fucking bones. And you end up helping it do that because somebody else's flesh is always going to get torn more than you when you fear becoming them. And if it's going to get torn less, you envy them and want to become them. And so you'll never stop. No one will ever stop this, even though they all think they are, like all these Web 3.0 guys who think that they're defeating the beast. They're defeating central banking. They're defeating all these state structures that cause oppression. When it's like, no, that is just the machine parts, the carapace of this algorithm. The real spirit of the fucking thing cannot be captured by any of your formal politics, and certainly not by trying to outsmart technology by utilizing it, because it only serves its own agenda. It only serves your agenda individually and accidentally.
And similar to its predecessors in political Salafism and Wahhabism and Protestantism, it is sold to you as being decentralized. You don't like this big centralized church coming down on you. You don't want to deal with this bureaucracy. It's in everyone's hands. Your relationship with God is in your hands. And then it ends up being, as oppressive, but in a shitty new way.
That's really
right.
good.
Because what do you want? Like, okay, congratulations. You get to pursue your own life on your own terms and do what you want. Oh, what do you want? What we tell you to fucking want, like through a filter of experience, but like your social goals, the things that make up your like being, like tell you the things you should be pursuing, like, you know, the things that draw you in one direction or another, that like direct your animal spirits through your life, are not made up in your head. You didn't come up with them through some like examination of like a totally like untouched central identity node, spirit or something. You're just a confluence of social influences. And so what you want is, at the end of the day, freedom through consumption, because that's all it can offer you. And you will flee towards that and build structures to reify that all the time, thinking you're doing what's best for everybody. You're in your mind, you're even thinking you're doing things like democracy. And you think that you're adhering to notions of individual freedom and autonomy, but all you are actively doing with your time on Earth is furthering the creation of this fucking self-loading guillotine that we're all in the middle of.
Just to return just for a second to like how our STEM overlords metabolize like literature and human culture for their own purposes. Like you talked about how Zuckerberg, you know, all these guys read Snow Crash and they're like, hey, like that sounds great. I can't wait to live in Snow Crash. But Mike, in your reporting, I learned that like, you know, like all these companies have their like corny little mottos and like self identities that are like, you know, be good, you know, innovation leads to innovation. Move fast and break things. I didn't know that Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, their corporate slogan that they wear on T-shirts says "Save the Shire." Like the like a Lord of the Rings thing, and like the name Palantir also comes from Tolkien. But yeah, like they're saving the Shire, and like who is that? Like Peter Thiel lackey who's like running for Congress or Senate from Arizona.
Blake Masters.
Blake Masters.
Blake Edwards.
Yeah, he's the guy he was driving the other day and saw a truck driver and just fanned out, like rolled over on his back.
Director of the Pink Panther. Yeah,
yeah. He saw like a lumber truck, and he was just like the guy driving that truck is a conservative. There's no way a progressive would be driving a lumber truck, and I love that. It was just like, yeah, the guy sucking my dick through this hole in a bathroom. Definitely a conservative. Could you imagine a progressive doing this? I think not.
Tom of Finland only drew conservatives.
Yeah. But you know, like but in Blake Edwards, in the Blake Masters, like if you watch his campaign ads, there is this kind of like he doesn't say it explicitly, but this like save the Shire mentality is that like Peter Thiel, like either they believe themselves in their own hearts and minds, or that they're selling this image that like what they are doing is preserving like the small, you know, hardy folk ways of like normal Americans' lives.
No, I think that's right. I think it's funny to me. Again, this goes back to like the reading list of folks who, and I think they carry a lot of baggage from, you know, like high school and like things that where they were just essentially sort of bullied or whatever, and then sort of now get to take a, you know, dominant stance in the culture, or at least shaping culture or whatever it looks like. But I think they just go to these sort of almost like texts that they think are sacred, again, that are not like maybe part of a full liberal arts education, but are the closest thing to like what they got there, and use that as the pretext for what they're doing. And that's why I go back to like, it's funny because a lot of the time folks are like, all right, this is, you know, they ascribe like malice that I think is there for some, but like unintentionally there. Like, I think they actually do believe in a lot of what they're doing, even if they don't know exactly what that means. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think they all secretly know where this is going, and they're all excited. I mean, one Super Bowl commercial that we forgot to talk about last episode, it was kind of blue. I can't believe we forgot about it. Was the one we talked about that one.
Okay.
The fucking Metaverse one with the Chuck E. Cheese band. Like this is this is them after this
Shitting on my
giant quarter of
childhood.
loss, right? They lost billions and billions of dollars, the biggest drop ever. Oh, we are introducing this product on what used to be like the most sacred commercial real estate in the world, and still is, like whatever vestigial power it has is still there, is Super Bowl. And what did they decide to go with? They showed this animatronic band at like a Chuck E. Cheese, having a good time, playing music. All the kids love them. And then the store shuts down and the place is abandoned. And then all the animals get sold to separate buyers. And one of them gets smashed into a goddamn car crusher. And they end up all like in sterile environments where they can't move, where like they're dead. Their batteries aren't being used. They're basically being used as like fucking statues. They're living zombies who are just like propped up in like museum lobbies and places. And then they all get the metaverse goggles. And then in the metaverse, they get to play again as a band in the virtual Chuck E. Cheese. That's their promise to you. Is that your hopes for this world will die. You will see any hope you had of living an actualized life in like 3D space obliterated. You will have your autonomy as a human stripped from you, but it'll be okay because you'll be able to simulate it in the metaverse where you can attach as much emotional investment to these pseudo things aren't real to your actual life, which is totally constrained, which is completely without freedom.
I would in my metaverse, I would love to have the meta Chuck E. Cheese band playing as my meta Titanic full of only the actor John Candy sinks into the North Atlantic.
And you waterboard John Candy for eternity.
And it's the Chuck E. Cheese band playing as the meta Titanic
sicko
the drain.
mode on a John Candy reserve. I want the minigun that fucking Jesse Ventura had in Predator, and I want to go to like a Coachella of John Candy. It's just 2,000 rounds a second.
All right. Let's move on before this episode devolves into the insanity of our John Candy episode.
No, but just to say, that was their idea to pitch.
Yeah,
that was not satire. That was their own pitch to you. That's how confident they are that no matter what, this is going to happen. And they're not selling you on it. They're trying to get you ready for it.
Yep.
And you know that they had the Foo Fighters perform in the metaverse on VR, which also broke down and didn't seem to work. But I hope Dave Grohl got paid, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my God.
But no, Matt, I think
Steven Spielberg make only a few years ago.
Ready Player One.
Remember, like this guy is the arch priest of like the satanic religion of like American capitalism, right? Like he is like a fucking shaman of the modern world. And what movie did he put out to the absolute bafflement of everybody like 5 years ago? Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Another thing where it's like, this is not like, oh, we could be like this. Like, no, you are going to live this way. You watching this, get ready for it. You cannot stop it. You can only whine about it, rebel against it, get suicidally depressed over it, or you can try to get on the winning team.
Well, I mean, Matt, to your point, like what you said, like the old model of advertising is like, drink this beer, you'll be cool and sexually attractive. Like they're selling you a product, enticing you to buy a product. Whereas like Mike, what you just said, like the speed at which like the metaverse is now just a thing.
Yep.
And everyone seemingly accepts it. And like to Matt, your point about the Super Bowl ad and then all the celebrities pitching crypto, it's this idea that like, it's already here and everyone's already doing it.
Yeah,
like we need your part. It's just like just getting like not even like getting you used to the idea, just sort of presenting it like it's already happened. We're already like all the celebrities are already getting into crypto. Like why aren't you like dummy?
Come on.
Did you see Paris Hilton last night?
You're getting people into the stadium. Like they've already bought a ticket. Maybe they don't know what door they're supposed to go through. Well, this is the door, idiot.
I just I two final examples here about like what are the real world like practical implications of this ideology. And like the first one speaks to this idea of like that what we once considered like owning something is changing rapidly. And that is the example I know you saw this, Mike, but like the truly insane and terrifying story about the medical technology neural implant company Second Sight, which is it's a technology that is like a neural implant that allows people who are blind to achieve some like rudimentary eyesight that allows them to like envision so that they can like interact and walk around the world. The story begins with a woman who is on the New York City subway when her implant crapped out, leaving her blind. But the point is that this company went bankrupt, and all of the people that have these like bionic eyesight are now unable to get their devices services, the software updated, and are essentially now their eyes are no longer their own. And it's their eyesight is dependent on a company that's gone out of business. And it's like, similar to like Boeing when they crashed that plane into the fucking ocean because they didn't update the software. This is now like a real, like in your own brain, in your own mind. If you're not like, if your subscription isn't up to date or the company that gave you eyesight just shits the bed, then guess what? You're blind again.
Imagine if you had a mini disc player responsible for like, a section of your knowledge or whatever, and then that format is no longer in use anymore. I think that was what stuck out to me in that whole thing. It's just fucked.
Do they? Is anyone else making this?
No,
I think
not this one.
Damn it.
Even if they were, it wouldn't be compatible. Yeah, it wouldn't be compatible.
You're gonna need an adapter.
Yeah, you need a dongle.
God, you have to go into Geek Squad to see again. That is, God damn, I wish I didn't hear about this.
No, you can't even go to Geek Squad to see.
No, yeah, it's like they can't help you.
Fucked. There is nobody. There is nobody who will fix your eyes. Like you will update your eye software.
Tesla that just stops in the middle of a highway. All the fucking computers just go down and the doors won't open.
We should just, if you're one of those people and you're so inclined to do this, the government should just give you heroin. Like that, because like if you lost your sight, that's one of the worst things that could happen to you. You get it back briefly, and then the company's like, we like so the thing is, we put all of our money into municipal bonds for a town that exploded. We're actually the only people to ever lose money on muni bonds. So sorry, you're blind again. It's like, yeah, what the fuck do you do in that case? If I was one of those people, I'd be like, yeah, I would call my senator and be like, can I have heroin?
This is another example where yesterday's science fiction is today's how-to manual. Like somebody read Philip K. Dick's Overdrawn at the Memory Bank and was like, a memory bank. Let's make that literal.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
You can charge interest on your fucking memories.
We also, we do live
overdraft
in
fees. It's great.
Would you like to continue this sexual fantasy? Please deposit for Ethereum into your wallet.
Yep.
We live in Philip K. Dick world. We even have a golden man in Jack Harlow.
Yep.
He's the golden man. He's the animalistic
I gotta
charisma.
say, I remember I first saw him like a year ago on SNL, having never heard of him, of course. That's how it is now with the SNL guests, the musical guests. I never know who the fuck they are, which is annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you're old. But I just watched him and he just like came out in like a sweatshirt and like some gold, and he just starts rapping. And I was just like, did he win a contest? Like, does he suffer from enteritis from Mr. Show? And like, this is his last wish? And yet he's huge.
I think he's very charismatic. I think he's very fun.
Golden man
charismatic.
right there. Just a pure vessel of good vibes.
If you look at his comments, like anywhere, like on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, it's like he'll be saying I'm going to, hold on, I'm sorry. I have to find the actress tweet. I love actresses. I love how your mind works, girl. Just like shit like that. And like just the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Because yeah, he's just like, he's living his dream life.
I would say
the comments are all like, yeah. The comments are all like the hottest women ever being like, please impregnate me. Just like the Golden Man. They got the Golden Man to look at a woman long enough, and she was like, I need him. That's Jack Harlow. He's
Just speaking of Philip K. Dick, I know I've used this example in the show before, but in my favorite of his novels, Ubik, it opens and in the reality of the novel, like in the main character's apartment, everything from his like coffee maker to the doorknob he uses to leave his apartment is coin operated, and it's this very like antiquated technology, but it accurately predicts the future where we're all perpetually renting the privilege to use a toaster that we bought.
And we probably will use real individual digital world coins.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's going to have to be some like symbolic ritual of affirmation of like transferring the currency. And the best way to do that is just have you reach into your Meta wallet and pull out some actual currency or some big doubloons and put them into a fucking coin operated machine. And then that'll be how we symbolize our new world that we're all loving and living in.
Well, yeah, no, I loved always when Bitcoin was first popping up, these guys would always bitch about fiat. And it is, you can be like, well, it's not backed by anything except for this country and its military and its economy, all its goods and services. But I mean, really, all this currency is the same thing, except it's backed by like dopeness.
Yeah, just swag.
And like what the next thing will be. It's just, but yeah, they've reinvented fiat. And yeah, there will, just like fiat, there will be like a physical token which redeems the amount of fiat that you own.
The Federal Reserve will just be like the dopeness arbiters.
Yeah.
They're the ones who create value. By
Jack Harlow being at the top of it.
who is the next Jack Harlow?
They're gonna put
Oh man, I can't buy a house. Jack Harlow said it's fuck times right now.